Just visit the new CalgaryHerald.com with more of everything worth knowing.
Well, massive. I mean, the Stampeders are in must-win territory. They have to win this game in order to make the last two games of the season kind of mean something. If they lose this game, they're at very real risk of not only going on the road for the first round of the playoffs, but even inconceivably, they could be in a crossover position. They really could, based on what happens the remainder of the season. BC's obviously playing well, and Saskatchewan obviously showed some guts in here on Saturday. So, yeah, this is a very big game. Their last regular season game at home, and absolutely a must-win.
A big sister-kister on Saturday with the tie. What does that mean? Who has to step up for this game to really show their strength going into it?
Well, we did see some offense in that game after a long dry spell, and Joffrey Reynolds scored the 3 touchdowns. Brett Ralph got into the end zone. Rob Cote got into the end zone. But, it's the guys, I think, like Jermaine Copeland and Nick Lewis. Obviously, Nick Lewis's dry spell has lasted the whole season, and obviously they need that to end. I thought he had a pretty decent game against Saskatchewan, made some big catches, maybe took a bad penalty here and there, but for the most part, I think he's playing very good football. And the main thing about Nick Lewis, too, is not necessarily what he does with a football in his hands, but what he's doing when other guys have the football. He's the best blocking receiver in this league, and he does the little things that kind of contribute that maybe the average fan doesn't pick up. But, yeah, I think they need to get a guy like that into the end zone. And Jermaine Copeland, too, gone through a little bit of a mini dry spell in terms of scoring, still contributing with his catches. But at the end of the day, they need their big guys to score touchdowns for them. Joffrey Reynolds did, but now they're looking for guys like Copeland, Lewis, and Robbie Bryant to get the job done against Edmonton.
Defense looking for a big game. I know it was an overtime and there were lots of points scored against Saskatchewan, but is the defense looking for a big showing against a team that didn't look that good their last time out?
No, and the Eskimos have really struggled down the stretch here. Yeah, they won in Toronto last weekend, but for the most part, they've just been playing terrible football. But, the defense, the Calgary defense, up until the late stages of that game, had done a very nice job, I thought, against Saskatchewan. But the last 3 minutes of the game, that's when John Huffnagel wanted them on the field so that they could close the door in Saskatchewan, and they didn't. And as far as the 2 touchdowns in overtime, I think there was a fatigue factor playing in there, but they want the defense to be able to close the door when they're given the opportunity, and they had done it earlier in the season, but in that game they just didn't get it done. I think they're looking to step up against the Eskimos. And again, we got to look at the fatigue factor. This team is operating under 2 short weeks. They had a short week after the Montreal game to get ready for Saskatchewan, and this is another short week. So yeah, this is a real gut check that they're going to be facing tonight against Edmonton.
And it is Edmonton, and always that's an intangible when Ricky Ray and the Eskimos come to town.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of respect for Ricky Ray from this Calgary defense. They know that he reads eyes out there, and he can read a defense just by looking at a guy's eyes. He's an amazing quarterback that way. He has had his struggles against the Stampeders. The last 2 games, he's been shut down quite effectively by the Stampeder defense, but they're playing for their playoff lives as well, so it's hard to predict exactly what kind of team we'll see out of Edmonton, but there's going to be some desperation out there.